a taste of what you're in for. In May, a book called Sorosoke, The Young Disruptors of an African Megacity was published by Trish Lawrence, who's, as you can guess from the name, a non-Nigerian researcher. So the outrage was that Lawrence had been quoted as saying she coined the Yoruba term Sorosoke for speak up. Now that anger bubbled into something else online and offline. The outrage was that the story of a generation was being told by a foreigner, by an outsider. It wasn't just online with 7,500 signatures petitioning for cancellation of the book. It actually resulted in the real-time cancellation of Lawrence's book launch. And so we had Twitter spaces and general discussions. Who is supposed to tell this type of story? Now, bear in mind, we're asking the panelists here different versions of this question, but would also like to hear from you when the time comes. Who is an outsider? Who is an insider? Are they allowed to tell the story? And so for me, I think the main reaction that has brought us here was the reaction to Lawrence's book. And it was that anyone based outside of Africa, physically, or in racial terms, in Lawrence's case, should not be telling the African story. So we're going to go straight into it. Dear panelists, starting with Delma, what is your reaction to this reaction that Africans, only Africans physically based in Africa should tell the story?
So quite frankly, I believe that storytelling is a universal gift that we all have, and that we should be able to tell stories regardless of where we are from or what the color of our skin is. However, I understand the anger that led to this. However, how do we do this in a way that takes into account the authenticity of our version of the story? And so the anger is very much understood. However, if I'm being totally honest, I believe that stories should be told by everyone. However, the authenticity of the source and giving the credits. For example, she's saying she coined Sorosoke. That's bewildering. Sorosoke is...
You said it.
I mean, that's a cardinal sin. You can't do that. So, yes, let's all tell stories, but know what is the authentic source and how do we make sure that the source of these stories are given the due credits they deserve.
I remember when we were chatting earlier, you had an example, which I thought was quite spectacular.
Right.
Yeah, just go on, just tell us. What's your example of an outsider telling a story?
Okay, so I can really relate to an outsider telling a story because I'm from a small city called Jos. We are known to be deeply, highly creative people when it comes to the arts. However, I have had to leave Jos to come to Lagos to build my career. And I'm going to be honest to say that the kind of responses I get and the kind of comments I get abroad were the exact comments I was getting here in Lagos 15 years ago. So it's like, do you have Wi-Fi in Jos? It's like, so do you have to cover your hair to go to school? And these are people who are in this same country. So if we as humans who come from the exact same geographical location cannot understand each other enough to even know that, look, we definitely do have Wi-Fi in Jos. If you have Wi-Fi in Lagos, then we can't say that, the people who are doing it to us outside of the country are necessarily any different from us. That said, the biggest reason why I am all for the democratization of storytelling is this. So my tribe is a very tiny little tribe called Ngas. Anyone ever heard of Ngas?
Anyone?
Woo! Oh my God, we're
not
famous.
So tiny then.
Not so tiny after all. Okay, so the Ngas, we probably